Hello and welcome. I am Uzi Murad, and here with me today is Naresh Babu, Head of Strategy and Architecture at Mobile Life. Hey, Naresh.
Hi, Uzi.
These days, we see more and more enterprises adopting multi-cloud strategy. In fact, a recent survey by IBM showed that about 85% of executives are saying that they are already running multi-cloud or will be moving there within the next 3 years. So what we wanted to understand today is what driving organizations, the multi-cloud strategy, and what are some of the challenges they are facing. But before we dive into the details there, Naresh, can you explain what we mean by multi-cloud?
Yeah, a multi-cloud strategy is just utilizing, I would say, two or more public or a private cloud. And for example, let's say you are utilizing AWS and GCP or Azure and AWS, we can call it as a multi-cloud.
I see. And is that strategy a good fit for any type of enterprise?
So I would say a multi-cloud strategy is a right fit for larger enterprises, and because of the cost and complexity of running and maintaining it. For small to medium organizations, I would recommend hybrid cloud as the option.
And what does hybrid cloud mean?
Yeah. So when you are running a local data center and then you are extending some services or a replication of that into a public cloud, you can call it as a hybrid cloud. But there is a terminology that is something like hybrid multi-cloud, where there is a local data center as well as there is more than two or three public clouds. So the combination of that is called hybrid multi-cloud.
Hmm. I see. So definitely it doesn't sound trivial. I wonder what's driving so many enterprises that direction. I know that many of them have the dual vendor strategy. They want to increase competition, keep the costs down, but is that really what it's all about?
Yeah, I would say yes. There are multiple drivers for the organizations, and from my perspective, I would say it's really the flexibility for picking the services one versus the other. Let's say, for example, if you are in AWS and Azure, is AWS Lambda is much better versus is Azure Functions, or the second aspect I would say is from the security aspect, where it's very hard to bring down multi-cloud environment using a denial of service attack or DDoS, I would say. And the third aspect I would say is data recovery or disaster recovery, where you can create a much reliable architecture which can reduce a single point failure as well.
So I'm hearing the ability to do best of breed, improve the security, and finally disaster recovery and availability.
I would say yes, yeah.
So what are the top challenges that we are facing when implementing a multi-cloud strategy?
Yes. So when it comes to any new technologies, there is a lot of challenges. So when you talk about multi-cloud, I would say it's still evolving, and organizations are already into it. But one of the key challenge is that there is not no industry standard in terms of giving architecture guideline or principles or best practices to be implemented, and there is not many tools in the market that can help support and monitor the multi-cloud environment. And when it comes to provisioning, deploying, testing of it, you don't see much tools as well. So from application standpoint, I would say one of the problem would be identity brokering in the multi-cloud environment, where each service provider might use their application to identify the request and response.
I see. So you mentioned identity brokering. What do you mean by that?
Yes. So let me give you an example. So when you are running an application, for example, in a local data center, which is typically being authenticated by Active Directory, and this has to contact or retrieve some information from your AWS file system, let's say, for example, and AWS, in the other hand, uses IAM service, which is Identity Access Management Service, to authenticate any request that is coming in. So So how do you translate a AD token or AD authentication to automatically authenticate an AWS is called identity brokering.
I see. So, what would be your recommendation to enterprises that are implementing the multi-cloud strategy?
Yeah, so I would say I can see in the industry there is a new adoption. It's called infrastructure as code, which is um, one of the way that you can convert doing admin task in terms of like from provisioning to deploying, configuring, testing the virtual machines, creating containers, deploying containers, creating serverless functions, deploying them. All of that can be considered as a code, and this code can be run by anybody, which is typically what I'm trying to explain is an automated CI/CD pipeline span across multi-cloud environment.
Mhm. And you mentioned tools earlier. You said there are not too many tools out there. So, are there any tools? And can they do that multi-cloud management?
Yeah, so I have come across very few tools in terms of multi-cloud management. So one of that would be Flexera, and other one would be Embotix. So I would say they are somewhere closer in terms of managing multi-cloud environment. And then there is a other tool which um, again becoming much famous is IBM Cloud Park, and people are mostly using it for data insight. And I'm I'm thinking that if we can use there is a tool called Terraform. If you can combine Terraform with Ensemble, which can act as a great IT automation tool that can automate most of the IT task in terms of public as well as private cloud. And I would say there is still a huge demand from enterprises to come up with a holistic platform that can allocate the workload strategically at the same time managing the business continuity in this hybrid multi-cloud environment. Still, we are yet to see a single tool that would act as a unified infrastructure management platform.
So, that unified infrastructure management tool, that's what we really need.
I would say yes.
And do you see any of the major cloud providers coming up with this tool anytime soon?
Yeah, why not, right? So I can see everybody is trying to get there. There are a lot of third-party tools that are coming up, and definitely Azure and AWS has already implemented tools to have hybrid cloud management, and nothing is stopping them from making a multi-cloud management platform or unified infrastructure management platform.
Thank you, Naresh. And thanks
Thank you.
everybody for joining us. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Z.